All right, everybody. It's another week coming up, week 6 already for the semester here. So here's your bridge video. So this upcoming week, we're going to be continuing our talk on epigenetics and its impact on healthcare. I think we're getting off to a really good start so far, having transitions now from understanding and learning some of the basics of genetics and genomics, and starting to look at some of the more hardcore, more in-depth research. I know a lot of it does seem overwhelming and in-depth. Am I expecting you to know everything and understand everything that you're reading or watching with the video lectures? No. Ideally, I want you guys to just see and get an understanding of how this research and how this kind of scientific discoveries are being made, and how it is going to be impacting you as a future healthcare provider in terms of how you speak with and educate your future patients and their families. And at the same time, this is cutting edge stuff, and when you work in healthcare, you want to stay in the know about the latest things going on, trends, research, and again, how that's going to be impacting future treatment of your patients in the future. So we're doing a lot more research and going to be utilizing more outside resources. So there's really not a whole lot of need for the textbook, which is a question I've been getting lately. I recommend keeping the textbook maybe just as a reference for as you are reading through some of the research, if you want to understand a term or topic and kind of review the basics. But we're not going to be using it much, if any at all, beyond here, from here on out. But like I said, it's still a valuable resource. At the same time, ideally what we're trying to do now is just make those key connections from knowing the basics to seeing how, as advanced as the research is, you still have to understand, and even the scientists have to know the basics of DNA and transcription and translation in order to develop the techniques needed to manipulate those processes, those basic processes, in order to cure or possibly prevent future diseases from happening. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Other cool thing, right, is you've got a big, kind of one of your big major assignments coming up, where you are going to be giving me a 5-minute presentation, kind of like this, like how I do my videos. Very simple, very easy, but I do want you to obviously do your research and provide me some resources, obviously, of maybe what video sources you used and watched. If you did kind of watch video lectures, papers, journals, obviously you're strongly encouraged to have looked at and utilized as well. But basically, I'm looking for that, short 5-minute presentation of a topic that you looked at, and kind of seeing how epigenetics and some of the genetic research that we've learned about or talked about are being used. And is this a treatment that you see, possibly being utilized and implemented within the near future, or even during your time as a nurse? And I think for sure many of you are going to definitely be impacted by these types of researches as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing those presentations coming up. So obviously this week I want you to focus on developing and gathering as much research as you can, and actually putting together your presentations, which are ultimately going to be due by next Sunday evening. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. So we'll do that. Also, for this week, there is another really cool video lecture. However, it is quite long. It's about an hour and a half. I'm not having you or expecting you to watch that entire hour and a half. I kind of fast forwarded through most of it as well myself. But obviously it is interesting stuff at the same time. But for this week in particular, and in relation to your homework assignment as well, with the video lecture that you are going to be giving me, the last 25 minutes of that video lecture that's posted in week 6 is of relevance. So that's where I want you to start. So read the description at the bottom of the video. It tells you that you should be starting at around 41 minutes and go to about the hour and 20 mark. So roughly 25-30 minutes worth of the video. That's where they're going to cover precision and personalized medicine, and how understanding our genetics and genome are being used and being put to practice in identifying better, more specific, targeted treatment plans for individuals. But obviously, as always, you're more than welcome to watch the entire video if you'd like, and if you are finding this topic that interesting to you. So again, not too bad, but again, definitely focus on the research and developing your video. As always, questions, comments, or concerns, please hit me up. And also, make sure to do your discussion boards, because there is another one of those as well coming up. But also make sure to do your discussion board responses by this upcoming Sunday evening as well. All right, thanks. Have a good weekend.